tools.
Weber State Sculpture Labs offer a range of exciting sculpture possibilities and a multitude of fabrication possibilities in wood, metal, and much more. Safety is paramount, and that is why all students must comply with shop safety protocol and proper use of the tools at all times. This video will cover basic woodshop safety, although much of this information is applicable to all of our labs. Following this instructional video, be prepared to take a short exam to test your knowledge of all the safety procedures. You must pass this exam before using the shop. We start with preparing to enter the shop, specifically dress attire. Jaden is entering the sculpture lab wearing an unusual outfit. Perhaps it is Halloween. She is heading to a theater class afterwards, or she may be attempting to make a bold fashion statement. In any case, she will need to address several changes to her dress attire before working in the shop. Observe the notice signs on the shop doors. Do a quick self-examination before entering shop to make sure you remove rings, necklaces, dangling earrings, tie back long hair, and remove tattoos. Jaden is ready to enter the shop. What is wrong with this picture? No open-toed shoes are allowed in the shop. Wear sturdy shoes with good traction that fully protect your feet. Do not wear baggy clothes, loose sleeves, hoodie strings that may be caught in moving blades or moving machinery, which would result in serious injury, or worse. Communal safety glasses are located immediately inside the shop door, though many classes require you to purchase your own safety glasses. You are not permitted to enter the shop without safety glasses on. Wear goggles over glasses and in some circumstances for extra protection for side of face. Ear protection is recommended. You have the option of earmuffs or earplugs. You must be in a fully sober state of mind. Do not work with power tools on cold medicine or any medication that causes drowsiness or fatigue. Do not operate tools under the influence of alcohol or drugs. And do not mix these two substances in one cup. The main classroom is where you should resolve all of your design issues, including measuring and marking your cuts. Entering the shop with your wood and being prepared to cut will help the overall productivity of the shop. The outfeed table on the table saw is not to be used for design work or gluing or any other purpose other than using the table saw. This makes the shop more efficient and prevents crowding. Use only new wood clean of nails and debris in the shop. Reclaimed wood may be used with specific tools out of the wood shop. Please consult with instructor or tech on how to do so. Never start a cut with the blade touching the wood. Hold the wood firmly against the guard. Start the blade up steadily while bringing it down on a slow motion to smoothly cut through the wood. When replacing blades or bits, the tool should not be powered. Unplug the tool, then make any adjustments, remove blades, or for example for a nail gun, add nails. Do not crowd or distract others operating machinery. Never startle or distract someone while they're operating a tool. Wait for them to finish their work or cut, and then very patiently and politely discuss your issue with them. Keep the shop clean at all times. Do not let any work area build up with debris or wood. This makes you look like a fool. Report any unsafe practices that are being performed in the shop. If you see someone that is not following the safety procedures, please inform an instructor or tech, and they will come to assist and teach that student. You are here to learn, after all. Our table saw is a saw stop table saw, which utilizes a brake cartridge to stop the blade upon hitting any conductor of electricity. You must only use wood on this table saw. Anything with moisture or metal should not be used, or it will set off the brake cartridge into the blade, and both of these would have to be replaced. Always check the wood for metal and other abrasives, which should not be run through the table saw. Set the fence to the proper cut width. The ruler provided on the table will measure the distance from the fence to the edge of the blade. Set the blade height for the proper cut depth. The blade should be at least a 1/4 inch above the wood. Before adjusting the height, be sure to unlock the elevation hand wheel by turning it counterclockwise. Then you're able to turn the wheel clockwise to raise the blade to the appropriate height. As with all tools in the shop, make sure that you have a good footing before using. Stand on the balls of your feet, and your feet should be shoulder width apart. Never stand behind a person who is using the table saw. Never walk behind someone while they're using the table saw. And before making a cut, make sure to check to make sure no one's behind you. To avoid kickback, which is when the wood is trapped between the blade and the fence and fires towards you, make sure to never ever take your hand off of the wood while making a cut. Push the wood all the way through and past the red area of the plate. When the fence is close to the blade, make sure to have a push stick ready. You are able to stop the wood and grab the push stick and then push it all the way through in the final push with the push stick. Be sure to focus completely on what you're doing. Your head should be down and you should be concentrating through the entire duration of the cut.
So focused.
Make sure to wait for the blade to come to a complete stop before removing the wood. Never attempt to cut a round piece of wood on the table saw. The table saw is designed for flat boards only. You must have at least one flat edge on the piece of wood to go through the table saw. It must be flat against the fence. The table saw is primarily used for ripping flat material. Wood should always be pushed standing directly in front of the table saw to the side of the blade. Never pull material through from the back side of the table saw. The chop saw is used for crosscuts or cutting boards straight across or at an angle or miter cut. Always mark your cuts ahead of time. Make sure the vent is open for the dust collector. Keep your hands at least 12 inches away from the blade as noted on the tool. Whenever possible, clamp down material to secure the wood for the cut. Start the blade and bring the tool up to full speed before entering the cut. Bring the saw all the way down and let the blade come to a complete stop before raising the blade. Always cut through material slowly, both thick and thin material. You'll have a better cut and it will not cause damage to the tool. The radial arm saw is used for crosscuts through wide boards and non-through cuts. Hold work firmly against the fence and table with fingers at least 12 inches or farther away from the path of the blade. The elevation adjustment wheel is located under the table. It is always a good idea to clamp material down firmly. Once the material is clamped down firmly and held firmly against the fence, you are able to start the saw and make the cut. Pull the blade slowly and carefully through the wood to make your cut, then return the blade to its resting spot and immediately turn the machine off. The drill press is handy for making machine precision cuts, for setting the exact depth, and for doing repetitive holes in a project, different from a hand drill which would not have the same precision. When setting the height of the table, make sure to keep one hand on the table before releasing the lock to lower or raise the height of the table. Adjust the table or depth stop to avoid drilling into the table or clamp. Remove the chuck key from the chuck before starting the drill press. When using the drill press, secure wood with clamps. Do not rely on just holding it down. And keep fingers away from revolving bit. No metal is allowed in the wood shop, period. The joiner and the planer are used for reducing the thickness of the wood. To use the planer, first measure the thickness of your board. Then use the adjustment wheel to set the planer to cut a 1/16 of an inch Each full turn of the wheel is a 1/16 of an inch. Run the boards through the planer with the grain, and your board must be at least 10 inches long to be used on the planer and the joiner. When doing multiple passes on the planer, move the board to different sides of the table so that you're using the blade across. This will keep the wear on the blade even. When using the joiner, if the board is below the height of the fence, you must use push blocks to hold the wood firmly down. Always keep your hands well away from the blade. And make sure to reposition your hands as you push the wood across the blade so that you are never passing your hand directly above the blade. The bandsaw is used for making irregular cuts. The bandsaw is a useful tool for making round or irregular cuts and having freedom to cut in a detailed way. Start by setting the height of the guard by using the thumb screw located on the back of the machine. The guard should be located about a 1/4 inch above your material. Also, make sure that no part of the guard has come loose and would be rubbing against the blade while it's working. To avoid twisting or binding of the blade, make relief cuts for tight spots and turn off bandsaw before backing blade out of a complex cut. Relief cuts are used to avoid the blade from being caught or binding in the wood, which can also damage or break the blade. When cutting, keep your fingers a good distance from the blade, at least 6 inches, and move the wood slowly through, allowing the blade to cut the wood at its own pace. Make sure the blade comes to a complete stop before sticking your hand in there with those razor-sharp teeth and removing debris. Power sanders are used for removing a good amount of wood, but make sure to always cut whenever you can. Cut, as this minimizes the amount of dust put into the works area. Make sure that you do not have baggy clothes when operating the sanders. This is spinning machinery that could pull hoodie strings or other dangling attire and pull you towards the machine. This is very important. Whenever sanding, wear a dust mask. On the disc sander, make sure to use the left side where the force is moving downward. Placing the wood on the wrong side here could cause it to flip up and hit you. When using the belt sander, use the left side of the sander, not the part where the sandpaper meets the machine. It could potentially suck the wood in. Cleaning up is required after every shop use. Please take the time before the end of class or different times during the class to sweep up and remove the amount of dust we are breathing. Vacuuming is ideal because this sweeping puts the dust directly into the air. Clean all parts of the machines. Put drill bits away where they belong in their appropriate home. Put away all tools.